At Crimson, Drew introduces Carly, Crimson's new editor-in-chief, to Nina. Nina gives him a slow clap and says, "Well played." Drew orders Nina out, but Carly wants to know how Nina learned about the insider trading before she guesses. Nina reveals Olivia's voice carries, especially when discussing secrets. Nina says now that they humbled her, are they finally even? She says she's lost her husband, her daughter, and now her job for doing something completely legal. Before she leaves, Nina tells Carly they have two things in common. They do anything for their family, and they both know how to settle a score. Drew orders Nina out before he throws her out. Nina tells them the fun is over, as now they have to run a magazine. She says good luck and leaves. Drew can see something is wrong with Carly by the expression on her face. Carly says this win won't be worth it if Crimson tanks, and he's going to have to find someone more experienced to take over. Drew asks Carly why couldn't she love it and want to do it forever. Carly says that wasn't the plan. She was only supposed to fill the chair short term. Drew says they can work together to make this magazine their own. Carly notes she's building a life at Bobby's too. She wants to hold on to that now more than ever. Drew doesn't want her to sacrifice that, but working here could be magical. Carly doesn't know, and what if in time something has to give? Drew says if she has to walk away, he'll support her, but he thinks she'd be amazing running Crimson. Carly says, "We would be amazing, let's do it. Let's be partners personally and professionally." They kiss. Nina goes into the restroom at the Metro Court and runs into Olivia. Nina says it's been a while since they've seen each other, since everyone found out she was the SEC rat and her husband wasn't. Nina tells Olivia to let her have it, as this day can't get worse. Olivia doesn't want to pile on someone already having a bad day and asks her what happened. Nina tells her about her firing and Carly's hiring at Crimson. Olivia knows that has to hurt. Nina doesn't get her. Why didn't she say anything about knowing the truth when she learned it? Olivia did it to keep the peace. It would have just hurt more people. And she convinced Ned to keep quiet too. Olivia jokes, "Don't feel you have to thank me." Olivia is not okay with the things Nina did, but she still believes that peace is possible. She's suffering a lot of losses, but they don't have to be permanent, and the best thing for her to do is move on gracefully. Nina tells her that she's probably right. Olivia exits, and Nina looks in the mirror and says, if Carly and Drew won a war, they got one. In the deception office, Lucy calls Scott for an update on their operation. Scott says he's meeting Tracy this morning at the Metro Court to tell her the truth. Lucy tries to leave to stop him from doing anything crazy, but is intercepted by Martin. Martin has 2 all-day passes to the Metro Court spa, which she asks to take a rain check on. Martin was hoping to spend time with her, but she says she has so many meetings, and she was just going to grab a bite at the Metro Court. Martin insists on escorting her there. At the Metro Court bar, Tracy asks Scott what he has to tell her. Scott knows she thinks he is shallow, but he believes in justice, and that's why they are here today. He says Lucy has it in for her, and he thought she should know. Scott says he didn't just ask her here to warn her about Lucy, he wanted to check on her and to be her friend. He thinks they should do this again, and Tracy says, "I'm not saying no." Scott orders a bottle of the best champagne. Lucy and Martin grab a table, and Lucy spies on Tracy and Scott across the way. Martin says it's been a hell of a year, and he doesn't want to risk losing her again. Lucy agrees and wants to focus on the future. Martin admits they felt off lately, and he began to wonder if her feelings changed. She wonders why she would think that. He admits he let someone get into his head. He remembers Tracy's warning about Scott and Lucy and catches Lucy staring at Scott and Tracy. Martin says he suddenly lost his appetite. Lucy apologizes for being distracted, but Tracy has made her life hell lately, so she has to keep an eye on her. Martin demands to know what the hell is going on between her and Scott. Brooklyn, Gregory, and Chase meet to discuss the wedding and Gregory's part in it. Gregory is happy to help in any way he can. Chase asks his father to officiate their ceremony. Gregory says it would be a privilege, and he's honored by their request, but he has to decline. He says he may not be at his best by then. This isn't just about his mobility issues, but this disease can also affect his ability to speak. He doesn't want to risk not being able to be understood. Chase says it doesn't matter how well he can say the words, just that he says them. Brooke Lynn tells Gregory their day won't be perfect unless he marries them. Gregory finally agrees to officiate, but wants a backup just in case. At the hospital, Spencer tells Laura that he's got to go prepare for his trip to Paris. She tells him that he's going to stay right here and tell the PCPD everything he knows about Ace's kidnapping. Dante arrives and asks where Ace is and who has him. Spencer says he's with his father who he let take Ace. Spencer says the police aren't necessary and his brother wasn't kidnapped. Dante says he is right, and in New York both parents have custody. However, there is a case to be made that Nicholas can't take Ace without Esme knowing. When Dante reveals Esme hasn't filed anything with the PCPD, Spencer says it's proof that her memory is back, and she can't risk it. He thinks Esme needs to be arrested, not his father. Dante says his hunch about Esme isn't enough to arrest her, and maybe he should be arresting Spencer instead. Spencer scoffs. And charge me with what? Dante says Nicholas is a fugitive, and he didn't report seeing him. That's aiding and abetting. Spencer says he of all should know what it's like to have a complicated father, one who shot him once. Laura scolds him, and Spencer says he's just trying to prove the lengths you go to for family. Dante won't arrest him, but will put an APB out on Nicholas. He also has to bring Esme in and get her statement on all of this. Dante asks if they know where Esme is, but they don't. Dante tells Spencer if he sees his father again to call the police. Dante walks off, and Spencer knows Laura is angry at him. Laura tells him that if he's right, and Esme has her memory back, they cannot underestimate her. Esme visits Heather in Pentonville and cries to her that Nicholas took Ace. Heather fumes and asks what Laura has said about this. Esme says she hasn't talked to Laura yet, and she went to Cyrus for help. However, he didn't offer any help, which is why she is here. She is hoping Heather has an idea of what she should do. Heather tells her to run. Esme won't leave without Ace, but Heather says people will figure out something is up when she can't produce Ace. They'll figure out she has her memory back, drag her to court, and send her to prison. Esme cries, "Am I supposed to abandon Ace like you did me?" Heather says she did what she did as it was the best option for Esme at the time. Heather says Nicholas won't hurt Ace, and she should run, and when she busts out, she'll help Esme find Ace. Heather says right now they don't have the means to track down Nicholas, so she needs to hide. Esme says, "And what? Watch Trina and Spencer ride off in the sunset together." Heather asks if she's speaking as a mother or a jealous ex. Esme insists this isn't about jealousy. She wants them all to pay. Nicholas, Spencer, Trina, and Ava. Heather says she's going to help her make that happen. Esme asks what she can do behind bars. Heather assures her to leave it all to her. She promises her that they will find Ace, but she can't go off on her own and try and do this herself. Heather asks Esme to trust her. She will get everything she wants if she plays it smart, if she plays the long game. Esme thanks Heather for her advice, but taking it slow doesn't work for her as she's out of time. Esme leaves as Heather screams at her not to do whatever it is she's thinking.